Today on Comfort Kills, we have all active duty soldiers who are proudly serving in the United States Army. Extra Duty Podcast was originally created by Josh Maria to help eliminate the stigma on mental health and give service members in every branch the opportunity to share their stories, experiences, and the personal traumas they've faced while serving. From attempted suicides, being transgender, PTSD, divorce, and more, Josh now has a team of co-hosts who help him bring these topics to the forefront on this new platform. As a collective, they address the unspoken stigmas which veterans and active service members encounter daily. Josh, Boy Pretzel, and Hercules are here to advocate for awareness, open lines of communication with veterans and service members to keep each other alive. Hey, well, welcome back to season 3 of Comfort Kill season premiere. I am so excited to have with me today. We have from left to right, Hercules, Boy Pretzel, and Josh. So welcome guys from podcast, Extra Duty Podcast. Super duper excited to have you guys here today. As being a veteran myself and having gotten Article 15s, I also know exactly what extra duty means. And so why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves individually and then collectively and just tell me what your story is.
Hey, I'm Hercules. I've been in the military or army for about 7 years now.
Okay.
I've had a few instances where I've kind of hit my head pretty hard a few times, and been dealing with that. I had a parachute accident a while back.
Oh.
This episode's now up.
Yeah. Talked about that for a little bit on here about PTSD in a little bit from stuff like that. And I've had extra duty about twice now. So,
just twice?
Yeah, just twice.
Hey, I'm Boy Pretzel. I've been in the military about 2 years now. Probably about to re-enlist. And
No way.
I've never actually had extra duty, but I did serve about half the sentence with Josh doing this podcast on extra duty.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
My name is Josh Maria. A lot of people get bugged out because my last name is Maria, but you know, when I usually say it, I'm like, yes, Joshua Maria, and they're like, Maria, and I'm like, yeah, girl's name. So you know what I'm saying? I just essentially what I did was I got bumped down. I was a sergeant, then I got bumped down to specialist. You know, I took that hit. And instead of doing the normal things,
sulking,
and because right after that, so I mean, I'm telling you, I got demoted. My father died, my grandfather died, all within the same 4-day span.
Oh my gosh!
And instead of doing the normal thing, which is get shit faced, drunk, and say fuck everything. So I don't know if I can curse on here.
Absolutely, do whatever's comfortable for you.
Nice. So I instead of doing that, I decided that, the only way I could think of coping was, hey, let me just start a podcast and start talking to people. And it slowly developed from me doing it after extra duty. So 11 p.m. every night, I was just recording episodes. And, slowly we started to see change. After our second episode, I tell the story all the time. After our second episode, we had a service member call me. It was about 11 o'clock at night, right after we finished recording our third episode. And he says, hey, I almost killed myself tonight. And I was like, holy shit. And I was like, what happened? He said, I had the gun in my mouth. I pulled the trigger and it did not go off.
Wow.
My buddy sent me your podcast, the 22 a day podcast. And he said, since I listened to that, it saved me.
Yeah.
And ever since then, we have consistently made episodes nonstop. And even now, he still communicates with me consistently, still an active listener, but he still wants to remain private. So I'm going to maintain that for him. But because of him, we continued on with this mission.
Wow.
We saved one life. So that was a big deal.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Josh, for starting it. Thank you guys for joining the cause and really making this your passion project, because I think a lot of times I learned a lot starting my podcast a year ago and just learning a lot about myself in general. And so this has been quite the journey for me, just meeting so many different people and discovering myself in the process, not realizing that's what I was doing. I've had veterans on the show. You know, I'm partial to veterans always. And so every opportunity I have them on the show. So I had my husband on for our veteran special last year. And then I had Dr. Skip on in May for Mental Health Awareness Month as well. And so his story was pretty incredible. You know, 26-year veteran.
26 and a half.
Yeah.
He sent us a book. We have his card actually.
Nice.
Background. We love him. He's
awesome. Love it. He's awesome. He's amazing. And we just really that episode went for an hour and a half and I didn't want it to end. It was just so amazing, the things that he had to say and the knowledge that he had, and just, you know, really telling guys and girls, you know, it's not just guys only, but it's telling guys and girls that depression is not for wimps, and you really have to, you know, face those demons and know that there's also people in your circle. And then that's where the resources and podcasts and people like you guys come in to be those resources to them. So thank you so much for being there for our veterans, and it's definitely necessary.
Oh, well, we got to thank you. I'm a huge research person. I do tons of research on people, and the amount of stuff that you've done within the year that you've been podcasting is phenomenal.
Thank you.
I've been seeing some great things about you, and everything that I've read so far, especially in your reviews and stuff on the podcasting websites, you are just inspiration for a lot of other podcasters that are trying to be like you. And that, by the way, that video, we got really emotional with the video.
Intro video.
We were hoping that we can use that as our intro video from now on to our YouTube, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Voice going, because, you know, it was so good. We were Herc cried.
I'll be honest. I saw my face come up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "That's me right there." I was like, "Oh,
that's you on TV."
Look, Mom, I made it.
I love it. I mean, Comfort Kills is still growing every single day, but I have reached so many people from so many different walks of life across the globe, and it has been pretty amazing. And so I'm just super excited to have you guys here and share your message and really drive this purpose and help support you however way possible and make this platform for you guys as well. So, welcome. All right. So tell me a little bit about, so Hercules and Boy Pretzel, you guys didn't originally start with Josh. So what made you feel like it was necessary for you to join the group and join the cause? Because I know there's more than this, because I've also spoke to Willie D. And so I know there's other involved in this process as well. So it's a collaborative effort. And I really want to hear how you guys decided this was it. You wanted to spend all your time after extra duty.
So Josh came up to me one day and he wanted to know if I want to be on the podcast. Because we had conversations before, like at the smoke bin. I told him about all the things I've done and stuff like that. He wanted to know if I want to be on the podcast to talk about just things in general. And I was like, you know what, I'd love to be interviewed. You know, I talk about my airborne accident and stuff like that, and you know, let everyone know, because that was a really
that was intense. Yeah,
that was a really intense episode. And after that, he like. We stepped outside after this show, and he was like, I really like the way you talked and like, and stuff like that. And he was like, how about you come in next week for this other interview we're about to do and see, how that goes. And it's
you've been stuck.
I've been stuck.
He hasn't been able to leave.
Love it.
All right. So how I started, I was actually just playing basketball. I was at the barracks. I have a little basketball court out there. I was playing basketball. He was like, "Hey, come over here." It was right after he got off extra duty. And he was like, "Hey, we're about to do an episode and we need a receptionist." So I started out as the calendar person.
You took all the notes?
I took all the notes. I recorded the first video on my phone.
It was so bad. Oh my God, that first video was really bad.
I think we found like a stack of paper, and we put in a chair, and there was like some other kind of picture just laying on the floor. We put the phone on the picture, and that's how we recorded it.
Yeah,
we tried.
Yeah, we tried. And that's when we were still using the phone to pass around.
We were slowly passing the phone around one by one.
Just talking back and forth. But that's how I got started. I just been making my way up to now I'm on the couch.
Oh, there you go. From the bottom, now we're here. I love it. Okay, so I know you mentioned you're also thinking about reenlistment. I'm a huge proponent for, military if that's the way you want to go and wanting to make a career out of it. I'm also a huge advocate for education as well. So whatever way you want to go, make the decision that's right for you, but don't regret it because, my husband just retired from being in the Army. And if I had stayed the entire time, I would have retired last year at 20 years. I joined back in 2000. So I'm an oldie, but definitely, congratulations guys for even making your career this far. I myself got in trouble so much. I was so mouthy. I had so much to say. My first sergeant didn't like me at all. My commander didn't like me at all. It was just a mess. And so I always got in trouble, always doing extra duty, and the floors were always shiny. So definitely, no, it was one of those things where, let Sandoval go over there and do the floors for the night. Since she's got CQ, she's on extra duty, and she's our troublemaker. I'm like, all right, Sandoval will clean these I will mop and glow the heck out of these floors, and you are going to be impressed and see yourself in the reflection in the morning. And that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, if you want to play games, I'll play games too. I mean, but I'll make it look pretty in the process.
Goddamn right.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the different types of stories and people you've met so far on your podcast and which direction you thought you were starting in and which direction you went in eventually.
So if you hear my first, I think my first season was bad. But it was like 20-minute intervals of us just talking. And it started off as men's military health because I was trying to deal with my own shit. And I was struggling with it. I'm not going to sit and lie to you. Because right after my father passed and I just came back from his funeral, boom, demotion. And then I had to deal with extra duty right after that. So I never really had time to, so what I essentially did was compartmentalize all my emotion. And the people that we started getting on was, we started talking about just men stuff. And then we realized that eventually it turned into everyone's mental health. Because mental health in the military, I realized was such a fragile subject.
Yeah.
Where we can't talk about it out in the open. I can openly say right now here on my show, Les, I've attempted suicide twice and I've had suicidal ideations multiple times. And I can say that openly because there's no reason that I need to sit in the back or sit in some office and talk to somebody about it when I have 30 battle buddies that are there. I have 129 people in my unit that I can talk to about my problems. Instead of having to hide behind a door. And some of the people that we had, oh my God, Kayla Bartleson. This woman, by the way, she's the one who donated our setup right now, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Roadcaster, 4 microphones. She donated that to us because she believed in us. She came on and she talked about her rape. First day in reception at her and she was raped.
Oh my God.
And she openly talked about it and made jokes about it, but in the way that veterans do, you know what I'm saying? To create, because she didn't want to she's not a victim anymore. That's what she said. She's not a victim. She's a survivor and she's somebody who owns that shit now.
Yeah.
And that was that story. So if you guys watch the video on YouTube, I was calm, cool, collective the entire time. I went upstairs and I cried. My wife. I had no idea how to process that emotion. So that was one of my hardest episodes so far. And then our first episode of season 2 is a transgender recruiter, Alex Seekings, phenomenal NCO, phenomenal recruiter. And the first time we interviewed him, we didn't even know he was transgender. We thought he was just a recruiter. He was just a recruiter, cool dude.
Yeah.
And then he told me that he was transgender, and I was like, holy shit. And I was like, hey, that's another issue. And started realizing that this is not just for people to come and talk about, the problems they're having. This is a place where we can educate soldiers, like educate soldiers and service members on how to properly communicate. I didn't know that. I'm going to be very vulgar. And for anybody out there that is trans or anything, this is how I thought. So don't defend it now.
Okay.
When you spoke with when transgender person or someone in transitioning is the proper way to say it, is the first question they always ask is, hey, did you get the surgery? Oh, do you still have a dick? And that's right there is inappropriate. It's rude.
Yeah.
To actually ask somebody that is transitioning is, where in your transition process are you?
Oh, yeah.
It's extremely important in the wording that you use because we have to think, right? There's a huge issue that we talked about with it is gender dysmorphia, where a lot of people believe it's a mental issue, right? That's where the categorized as, and that's just something that's what science is at currently right now. So we need to understand that based off of regulation and based off of how these people, how everyone out here is feeling, we need to understand where. Look, I'm not going to have anybody walk up to me and call me a spick. You know what I'm saying? So why would I walk up to this person and call them a fucking tranny? It's rude. It's inappropriate.
Yeah. Right.
Understanding the language that you're supposed to be using was extremely important, and those were those were the 2 episodes that I learned the most from. I don't know about these guys. Sorry.
For me, so I came in late to the show, right? At first I was interviewed, right?
Okay.
And then after that, I think one of the most like memorable, I honestly, 2 of them stand out the most. Jason.
Oh, with Jason Miller? Yeah.
Jason was a really good one. 20-year vet retiring out of the army.
We got him right after he retired. He was awesome.
As soon as he retired, that was really good to see, because I'm in the process of getting out, right? I'm an 8-year specialist, you know, so like my level of getting out, it's completely different than a master sergeant getting out of the army. It was really interesting to see, like, no matter where you are, like, it's still the same, you know, BS going into it. And what was the one we did last week?
With Tech.
Yeah, Tech.
The guy from Tatted Military. Era of Tech, Staff Sergeant Teixeira. This guy.
He's insane.
Oh, no, don't say anything. His episode will be out not this in about 2 weeks.
But
his episode is ridiculous.
It's so great.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
One of our longest episodes, I believe. The longest.
It was 2 hours total.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Wow.
And that was so. I don't know. I'm gonna mention what we did afterwards.
Go ahead. You got it.
So we had like the main podcast, right? And then after the main podcast, we have like this thing after dark at the smoke pit.
Because we wanted to show our audience that we're not always super serious. There is they've been asking us what happens after the show. I kick them out, but you know,
we usually sit around and just, you know, say some bullshit that we would at the smoke pit, you know, joke around and stuff. But really, it was like a way to, like, if we need to put more information out there, we can. Or
exactly.
And for those that's going to listen to Jason's episode has so much positive information on how to get out of the military, and on top of that,
because Carlos was part of it too, wasn't he?
Who? Oh yeah, no, that was Carlos. Yeah, he was a part of it. Veteran Vans, that guy is awesome. But those episodes definitely they hit
spicy, so spicy.
Good stuff. I'll have to listen for sure.
So one of my favorites was probably 22 a Day, because I remember being there for that one. I was actually writing down notes, giving them, you know, whatever they need as they're recording. But there was just a lot of passion in that one, and it showed how much we cared really about the podcast and the people that listened to it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, that's really incredible. And just going back to, like, I'll just kind of hit on each of the topics that each of you spoke to. So Josh, you know, I 100% agree. One of my first encounters working with somebody who was transgender was a person in my organization time. And it wasn't necessarily difficult for me, but I think as a leader at that time, being able to introduce this person into the organization and teaching them what the politically correct thing is to say or ask was the best thing to do. And even when you don't know how to ask it, say you don't know how to ask this question, but, you know, and then that way it'll be an opportunity for that person to educate you. And so I can't even imagine what the Army looks like, or the military in general looks like, now that don't ask, don't tell is no longer a thing, because that's what it was. The culture was when I was in. And, you know, even though we knew certain people were, had different lifestyles, we weren't allowed to ask, we weren't allowed to tell. And so that was definitely a huge evolution for the military in general when that was lifted. And so I'm very curious what that looks like on the inside, as far as even just the logistics of things, from bathrooms to training to everything else too. And then Hercules, I mean, 100%. I think there's so many times there are certain stories that are just going to impact us so differently, right? And then even Josh, you were saying that going home and or going upstairs and crying later on because the story was just so powerful. I've had people come and tell me when they were molested as an 11-year-old and found, you know, one of the episodes that were released in May is she woke up to being gagged and raped by 3 men, you know, and just like, how do you even how do you even take that information in, and how do you even respond to something like that? Like I wasn't ready for that. And I grew so much like emotionally from a maturity level in knowing how to just let people speak and let people have their moment, because they're here to share that story so that it can help change somebody else's life. And so it's incredible that you guys are creating that platform as well. And then, Boy Pretzel, same thing, being being there and being, from the bottom, now you're here, and just being there from the beginning and having that be your very first one. I think that's pretty cool too. Just knowing that there are certain episodes that are always going to impact you, and there's always going to be like a new favorite or a new, oh, this one was the best one. But everything, it's like, it's our baby, right? They're all our little babies. We don't play favorites. So
to touch on the Boy Pretzel thing, right? So the main reason was, so we were on a live show with Army WCF. They were interviewing us about the podcast, and Blake said his name very improper on the mic.
I'd say how I always say it.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Okay.
So he said it, and Ice was just like, "Oh, Boy Pretzel," and then instantly that was it. It stuck the entire show.
There you go.
He's gonna have a cooking show called Cooking with Boy Pretzel now.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
It's gonna be the barracks cooking show.
Oh yes, there you go.
Really good. That'd be a really good show, to be honest.
And something I'll touch on the transgender situation here in the military. So, one of the things is that here in the military now, what they do is there's no bathroom change and all that until you are in DEERS fully transitioned in transitioning process. Then all the other things change along with it. The process is obviously it just like everything else, policies are new, policies are developing and changing. So, from what we, again, just so to put it out there, disclaimer, we do not represent the military in any way. We just want to share people's stories and show that it's okay to talk. It's okay to not be okay. And I say it all the time, this is not a moment, it's a movement. We're creating this movement.
Yes.
To make a change and to show people that, I want to rehumanize the military. We're not animals. We're not monsters. You know what I'm saying? We have emotions, we have feelings, and it's time that we finally start talking about it. And that's what our goal is, our mission statement.
Yeah.
To make change, but from the inside.
Right.
I used to hear this thing where you can't put the fire out from inside the house. So you got to get out the house to fix it. And I said, that makes no sense. Why would I get out of the military to fix it? Excuse me. Oh man. the real, I haven't burped on a show since season 1. But the real change actually comes from something very specific. Can't put the fire out from inside the house, but what we can do is educate people so they stop starting fires. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stop the fires from being made in the first place.
Right.
Because if I could share a little bit of statistics right now, that 22 a day is no longer 22. It's about 27 now. And
that's good.
The veterans, 27.
No, that's not. No, that's bad.
That's bad. Very bad.
Yeah, it went up.
And then currently right now, the highest rate of suicide is post 9/11. So, right. And these are the ones that say, hey, just throw some dirt in and walk away. You're fine. But 97% of, so there's 3% of the population that are veterans. 97% of them are committed suicide, which were men. And because of this timeline and this idea of the old Army mentality, we lose veterans every day because of the lack of training and the lack of mental health.
Yeah. And
that's the part that disturbs me the most, and it scares me the most, because I'm looking at I've already buried 4 people. I have something up here. I have one of these 22 a day veteran Valhalla made for Sergeant First Class Greco. She killed herself 21 days before she was supposed to get out the military. Get out the military, and she killed. And that is another driving force to everything that's going on. Like right now, like I'm a specialist, right? I'm just a lowly specialist trying to make some change. Eventually I won't be. I'm trying to go, I'm going to get my rank back, and I'm going to continue to push forward in the military as much as I can. Yeah. But what am I doing honestly in the military if I'm not trying to change soldiers' minds? My goal is to fix anything and everything that's happening right now.
Yeah.
So
which I would say it comes back to the saying, what sergeant comes from.
Oh yeah, and sergeant
to serve, right? To serve those above you and serve those below you. Like
sergeant's a French word. Yeah, it came from the word servant.
Yeah,
and we are servant leaders now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not a sergeant, you know, to be that servant leader for those, you know,
Yeah.
above you, to give them that outlook, that outlet, show that like mental health in the military is a normal thing, because we're human, like he said earlier, you know.
Right.
And it's not a shameful thing to have, you know, if you do need to seek help and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So I'm going to throw some quasi statistics back at you. So I did a really quick PowerPoint like presentation back when I was in doctoral school, and I did it on PTSD and veteran suicide. And statistically, I know you said that there are more men than women, but did you know that statistically, and I can't remember the exact numbers now, women are more successful, women veteran are more successful when they do make the choice to take their own lives. They are more successful. And that's the knowledge of knowing how to use a handgun or any type of firearm in general. They're more successful because they follow through with it and it's done. Not that saying that the men don't, but they're statistically more successful in first time attempts, which is really scary as well. But you know, I apologize for saying 27 earlier was good, because I'm thinking 27 days and then there's one, but no, totally wrong.
Oh, you're fine.
My brain.
Yeah, you're good.
But it you know, and it's scary. And you know, back to this situation where you're saying this, was it a sergeant first class? You said getting ready to get out. That's in itself, and back to what Hercules was just saying earlier, that in itself is scary. The transition period of not knowing, you know, that was difficult for a lot of people that we've known retiring from the Army and the military as well. And we, you know, my husband was in when there was a period of, we were overstrength in the Army, and they were starting to cut troops down because we are, you know, we're cutting the budget down, we're cutting troops down, and people were being forced retired. And so these guys and gals are being thrusted into this forced retirement that they still thought they had 5-6 years left. That whole thing just like fucks with you, you know, like you're not ready for it mentally. You still thought you had 5 years left, and now you're saying you're being told that you're going to be ETSing in 5 months and get your shit together. You got to figure something else out. Thank you. We broke you. You're done. Get out of here. You know, and so we had so many different people that we know go through that was just so hard. So the transition resources in itself is great too. Whether you're 7 years in or whether you're 20 years in, that there's not enough resources out there that people know about. You know, there's resources. Everybody wants, a lot of people wants to make change, but they're not aware of it. So this is where your platform is so amazing.
So that's actually something I wanted to talk. I'm getting ready to start an episode of talking with leaders, and other soldiers and people that have gotten out, and also working with the transition units and stuff like that, like where you go through transition, to get as much information as possible.
Yeah.
I'm honestly gonna bring Jason Miller back on, because Jason retired, but that man is filled with so much knowledge of transition. So much, like I'm talking,
oh my god,
our entire After Dark is straight up just facts and knowledge for how to get out.
It was like another 30 minutes of just like
of pure knowledge.
It
was awesome. And we're gonna continue to do that. Like I said, this is it's about education at this point. We want to share other, like, because I say it a lot, and the thing is that if I asked you a math question, right? If you when you were in school, and the teacher asked, "Hey, does anybody have any other questions?" Right? No one raises their hand, right? Normally. And then there's just one person that raises his hand, and he's like, I don't understand this. Can you re-explain it? And everyone else is like, oh, thank God. Right? That's what we're doing. We're trying to raise our hand with these people that are going through these issues, so that you know you're not alone. If you're out there right now and you're watching and you're thinking about committing suicide, or you thought about committing suicide, you're not by yourself. You know why? So have I. I've been here. I've been there. And you know what? I'm still here because I realized that I this is going to sound very rude, but I think of life as a game. You live your life. That's how you play the game. You die naturally. You won. You commit suicide. You cheat. That's how it works for me. And I consistently think of that. I'm like, I don't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat. I don't want to cheat. And that's how I keep myself alive. And that's how I keep myself alive.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you feel like you're alone, you ain't. We got people who's been raped. We have people who've been beaten, drugged, broken, fell out of helicopters, been in a helicopter crash, hint. and that's just, you have to understand that people go through the same things you do, especially in the military. Everybody go through it. Everybody goes through that shit.
And one thing I want to throw out there too is it's not we're not trying to like one up people, right? When we these aren't one ups, you know. You can't be sitting there and be like, you know, I can't. Wow, how am I having it bad if this person had this to happen?
Exactly.
You know, everyone's different, right? Everyone goes through different things.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure I said in my episode, when I had my parachute accident, you know, the stigma for me was, you know, I've never deployed, so how can I have PTSD, right? And my old LT back then, he was a captain now. I had him on Facebook not too long ago. I got a message him later. But he told me he has PTSD. And the first thing I said, I'm pretty sure, I was like, sir, you never deployed. How can you have PTSD? How can I have PTSD? I've never deployed. You can have PTSD from everything. It's a traumatic experience.
Exactly.
Right? And then even it comes down to anything really. Like if you feel a certain way about a certain thing, you know, that's the way you feel, you know, and everyone's different. Everyone goes through things differently. Don't feel like everyone's trying to one up you or you're being it's your feelings, your emotions. That's something we have to break through to try and like have people understand.
And I'm not being rude. I'm just consistently sharing the live so more people can watch. I'm sorry.
Right. Oh, no, you're fine. You're totally fine. And I have to say that is definitely something that I've seen and heard a lot of, right? So it's like a pissing contest. It's like, well, I've been to combat here and there with these people or something like that. And then, you know, how is it that, you know, how do you say you have PTSD when you were sitting in Kandahar the whole time? You know, and it's just like comparing experiences, but everybody is so different. Everybody reacts differently. And I think if we stop stigmatizing one another, then things will be a little bit better for us to be more open about what things are actually happening inside our head. And, you know, and that's not even just in the military. Like, I'm a nurse now. I work in a pediatric setting. One of the huge things that I'm pushing right now is just reducing compassion fatigue and burnout with our clinicians. And one of the things that they always say over and over in the more intensive care side of things is, you know, we're intensive care clinicians. This is what we do. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to just move on after a patient dies. We're supposed to just be able to pick it up and pretend like nothing happened and take on the next patient like everything's okay and have a conversation with a smile on our face. And I'm trying to remind them, like, that's not what you have to do. You can take 5 minutes. You can take 10 minutes. You can say, I need to leave and I have to end the shift now. You know, if it's good for your mental health, it's good for your mental health. Don't think that you're in this like box of what the expectation is and do what you think people expect of you. Do what feels right. You know, speak your mind and know that if you feel like you need help, it's okay to want help too.
Of course.
You know, and that's the biggest problem. Yeah.
Hey, we're real big, man. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. You can. I don't sleep until 2 a.m. You hit up my page or you hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I'm gonna answer. I always answer.
Yeah, I experienced that firsthand.
Oh yeah. I mean, what was it? He had some message on Facebook. He was real upset. It was what was it, like 12 o'clock or something?
I think it was like 12 or 1.
Yeah, it was like 1 in the morning. I was still working on some things, and then I see him, and I'm like, "Yo, you good?"
Yeah, we talked for like a good hour afterwards.
Like, I have no issue talking to somebody. I mean, obviously, I got a podcast. I just talk all fucking day. You know what I mean? But I rather talk right now than see you at your funeral. You know, talking to you at your funeral is a lot worse. You don't talk back. You know what I mean? And it's easy. It's easy for everybody to push everything off. On you're just being a bitch. It's very easy to do that. It's very easy.
Yeah.
The hard part is actually talking to your soldiers. The hard part is getting to know them. The hard part is understanding where they're coming from. So I'm a narcissistic sociopath, right? I have an issue with empathy. I have a lot of trouble with understanding empathy and understanding someone else's feelings. But with consistent work and training and practice with my wife, she's helped me tons of times with it. I had to learn how to feel bad for people and understand where they're coming from, to put myself in their shoes. And when you can actually do that, that's a whole I have an actual medical reason why I can't do it. You don't. You should be someone that's willing to talk to somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you, boy Pretzel? You always quiet, too quiet. I don't like it. Say something.
He's getting a live viewing of the podcast.
Yeah, like I get to watch this shit live. I'm just paying attention to this point.
See, that's what the inspiration is.
Be here now. Be here now. Enjoy the moment. You'll see this later. It'll always be there.
But another thing about asking a question, if you ever want to ask either me or Hercules or even Willie D a question as well, you can always just message the Facebook page, and he will call us at 2 a.m. so we can answer this question.
So that's a real thing. I will call you at 2 a.m.
It is a real thing.
I'm the same way. I don't sleep until like 2 or
I'm always working, man. I got a lot of things going on.
I just can't even fall asleep to begin with. I usually pass out around 2.
Sheesh.
But yeah, if anything, like you need to reach out to any of us. Really, we're always there. Between 8 and 2.
Yeah,
8 a.m. to 2 a.m. the next day.
It's more like like 9 and 9 for me. Like 9 at night, 9 in the morning, baby. I'm sleeping.
Wait, so 8 and 2, do you not get up at dark 30 for PT anymore? What's going on?
I get up around 5:30.
Okay.
But I need to like mentally prepare.
Oh, gotcha. Your body's there, but your mind isn't.
Yeah. And then I do PT, and 8 o'clock is when I'm like done with PT. I'm ready for the day.
There you go.
So that would be the prime time to reach me.
I mostly do PT in the middle of the day these days. You know what I'm saying?
Weird flex, but all right.
The sun is out.
Weird flex, but okay.
It's nice and hot.
All right. So let's say we have somebody who is a little more of an introvert, not really wanting to like reach out to you guys and like putting their whole life story out there and being vulnerable in that kind of way. What suggestions do you have for those types of individuals with seeking their own internal resources?
So I got this cool little button on here now, right? Where it completely anonymizes somebody's voice.
Okay.
So, but if there's somebody out there that is actually having that doesn't want to openly talk, I'm down to just talk regular. My show is only here so you can talk open and share your story. But I personally, if you guys look at any of my descriptions, there's tons of resources, Military One Source, Suicide Hotline. I have every suicide hotline number for every country that has a duty station on it. My email for the podcast is actually on there. So you send me an email and I'll automatically respond to you, and I'll send you my number. Okay. My phone number is on that email as well. So if you go ahead and look at the bottom of my email, my phone number is there. I have no issue giving another service member my phone number because I'm here for you. But if they're extremely introverted and they just feel like what I do essentially now is I just talk to them. You can ask him. This kid was introverted when he first got here, and I'm a very big
extrovert.
Yeah, I'm super extroverted.
Very much so.
But it's because I believe that conversation is genuinely the key to fixing most of your problems. So as long as you talk about something, you'll be all right.
Yeah, just because you message the podcast on like Facebook, whatever, doesn't mean we're gonna put you on the show.
No. Message us to message us. We do it all the time. Yeah. I mean, look. Oh no, that's a PayPal email. Oh, I don't have any money.
I was gonna say,
there you go.
I mean, even like if you're not understand that like this podcast it's right now it is lower enlisted, right? So we I would like to say like we're the voice of the Joes, right? Of the
we're handling it from the lowest level.
Exactly.
That's what we got to do.
And for me, I have leadership experience. Well, I mean, we all had leadership experience.
Yeah, was a whole damn
so if you want a different perspective from a different leader, whatever you're going through, whether anything really, you can definitely message us, and we'll give you as much advice and resources as possible. No matter who you are, right?
Yeah. No, that's incredible. And thank you guys for opening yourselves up to that. And, being there for others, because the resources are limited. And I know there's lots of different military people who do different things and are quite popular or not so popular, but just making yourself available. And I hope you guys like stay humble like this, because I think, what you offer is really incredible. And if you continue to recruit people who share the same passions or have similar outlook, and just growing your team of making this like, not saying that you should be at a 1-800 contact center, but it's nice to know that option is available, at least for now, and so thank you.
So I've actually, and I want to talk for a future reference here. So I've already come to a conclusion, right? So I am working on creating an LLC, and I've made a decision that I won't have a robot answering my phone. I'm going to answer my phone. I'm going to continue to answer my phone. I'm going to continue to answer my messages, comments, messages, whatever you got for me. Look, popularity and fame is not something that I give a shit about. Look at my Twitter. I follow everybody on Twitter. I don't care about. I don't want to be a fucking influencer. I'm tired of influencers. I think influencers are poison to just life right now. What I am is someone who's trying to influence people, not be an influencer. Influence actual people. I'm so tired. I am so tired of people being famous and having money for doing nothing.
Right. Yeah.
It's time to start changing that shit and start changing how people see things. Because now I'm tired of watching my brothers and sisters die. And at the end of the day, right? What's the point of me? What's the point of, like, I've dumped all my money that I have so far. I've dumped into this, and I haven't dime. You know why? Because at the end of the day, my job currently right now as a leader is to make sure my soldiers are good. And right now I ain't got no soldiers, so I'm gonna take all y'all to be my soldiers for a bit.
The
entire world is my soldier.
You have so many counseling to do at the end of the month.
There's another thing I wanted to add too, because at the end of your email, you said that you wouldn't mind giving your phone number to military members, but we're open to everybody, not just military members.
That is true, actually. Yeah,
100% right.
Yeah, awesome. Not just Army, not just military, the world, literally the world. So that's beautiful. All right, so what are some of the struggles that you guys have had creating this podcast, creating this environment where people can openly come and reach out to you? Are there some weird shit that you see or hear?
There's a lot. So normally this is more like my section because I ran everything behind what happens on the show. So
sorry,
we'll start from like day 0.
Okay.
Right? We get up there. They're like, hey, we need you to get a calendar and download this app. All this shit, and we didn't use a damn one of it besides my agenda, which was a flowered notebook.
What happened with that agenda, by the way?
It's over there in the corner.
No. What happened to it the first time?
Oh, yeah, I won't talk about that. Okay.
No, but we got to. You've already opened that can of worms.
I had my flowered agenda, all right, and I forgot it at the in the studio that we used beforehand.
There you go.
After extra duty. And the next day, another fellow service member, Sergeant First Class, found the notebook on the table. So after that, we were recording another episode because then I think we were recording Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, we were doing like 3 days.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We were recording it. I came in Wednesday, and the Sergeant First Class, he's like, Ransom, you got some explaining to do. I'm looking around like, what the fuck? Like, and I couldn't find my notebook that day, so I thought it was kind of weird. And he's like, I found this and threw it on a table. It was the flowered agenda. He's like, now tomorrow at 12 o'clock during lunch, you're going to come up here and you're going to brief me on what's going on in the show. Fuck. You know? What?
And he did very good. It was hard. It was piss poor.
No, it was good. He liked it.
So one of the other real big issues we had, so we had to make sure we were within Army regulations because we're active duty service members. We can't do anything crazy.
Can't do anything crazy, say anything crazy.
So our big thing now is actually what we do is we cannot bash the military. We promote military programs and don't bash the military. No names, no names of units, and promote military programs. So I looked at it. I looked at the reg, and essentially, if we maintain that, we can talk about the military. We can talk about bad leadership all we want, as long as we, are promoting and trying to give something different. We're not, again, like I said, not affiliated with the military, but what we are doing is we're trying to create, we're just trying to create an outside environment. Because I'm gonna tell you this right now: don't no soldier want to go to their first sergeant, CO, chaplain, or any of that about their problems. The only resource they got, so they're gonna go do it, right?
Yeah.
They go to EBH, they're gonna have to, which I 100% support. But those soldiers, those very few who do not want to, and those are the few that don't that go and kill themselves. Those are the few that go and do something crazy. Our goal here is to handle it at the lowest level. We're a bunch of specialists. I what I'm saying, that's what we're doing. We're just some specialists with a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What we're trying to do is create this environment, and with this environment that we've created, like I said, the hardest part has been that specific thing, because people want to just go and say, "Oh, fuck this, fuck." I was like, don't worry about it. Pretend you're writing an angry letter. That's what this is. Writing an angry letter.
Exactly. Yeah.
And to share with other people. And speaking of writing angry letters, you mind if I throw a quick plug in?
Sure, of course. Absolutely.
So we're working with this company right now. Awesome company. Stu, you better be watching. So Stu runs the Noisy Brain.
Okay.
Noisy Brain is this phenomenal place. So you ever write? You've written an angry letter before, right?
Oh yeah, all the time.
You don't send it though, right?
No.
So
sometimes.
what you can do is you can send it to the Noisy Brain, and you know what the Noisy Brain does? They actually take your trauma that you've gone through, and they turn it into a song.
Huh.
And instead of hearing your shit back to you, you hear it in song, and it's such an amazing healing therapy process to hear back everything that you've gone through.
It's insane.
And we've been working with them a lot lately, but it's just little things like that.
Wait, but what kind of song?
I think it's
acoustic.
Any genre.
Pretty much any genre, and they go ahead. He works in Singapore right now. He was in London, New York, and all that. But it's so amazing what they do. You can download their app. You can be a creator, which is somebody who writes a song, or who creates the songs and does the music, or you can be somebody who gives, the lyrics.
Yeah.
But it's so awesome. I if you want, I'll send you the link later.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's such an amazing program.
No, I would love that for sure. I like what I'm thinking of is like Eminem's song, when one of his first albums, when he first came out with it, and he's like writing his letter and he's reading the letter, and then it becomes his rap.
Stan, yeah, dude.
Stan, yeah.
Yeah.
Stan was a good one.
Classic.
Yeah, for sure. So what's in store for you guys in the future? I mean, I know you're all gaining. We have one that's potentially re-enlisting. We have another that's also looking at transitioning out. And then we have one who just wants his sergeant back. So what's going on, personally and with extra duty?
So currently right now, as you see, I'm in my garage, the studio. But it took a lot of effort from my wife and my family to accept what we were doing, and she's been extremely supportive. She started off hating it.
Oh yeah,
and then she saw how big we started getting. Well, we're not even big. She saw how
big, how the impact
she's been seeing
that
we
can do and make.
But I guess for the future, right now, I'm planning on as soon as I get my sergeant back, I want to become a career counselor and stay in the military, help soldiers as any way I possibly can, and continue the podcast. But I think eventually I'm going to transition out and work strictly the podcast, because I think that at some point I can do as much as I can within the military, but eventually I'm going to need to start helping soldiers from a different view.
Yeah,
and that's where I am. I don't know about these guys. What's up?
I know for me, obviously I've been in the Army for a while. The reason I haven't been promoted or anything, it's really all on me. I'm not going to blame anyone for things I've done. So I'm getting out next year. I have like 12 months left, actually.
Okay.
Still don't know what I'm doing. Still thinking about it. It's either between like underwater welder or like windmill technician.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Two completely different opposites on the ground.
Yeah. Those windmills are incredibly expensive, man.
Yeah. I'm not buying one. I'm going to repair them.
Right. No, but even the engineering of it and getting it up and everything, just random thought. So our family recently went on a road trip. We did an RV road trip, first time, first experience. Might never do that again, but the road trip itself was pretty awesome. Not the RV part. Maybe it was just the RV we had. But anyway, so we saw we drove through Route 66, and there were many different areas with just like the whole windmill farm, I guess is what you call it. And I was just like, that thing is fucking huge. And then we're like, how much like money and investment is there into those things? So we started looking it up. It's like $2 to $3 million just for the structure, but I think it's like it's $1 to $2 million for the structure, and then it's like $3 to $4 million after engineering it and putting it together. I'm like, and then I'm sitting there counting each one of them. Like, that's a lot of money. So they're making a lot of money.
Yeah. I got to ask you a question, Dr. Jazz. Do you and your husband, you guys watch TV together?
We do sometimes.
Right. So if an episode is, let's say the show's like an hour long, how long does it take you to actually watch the episode?
The whole hour?
The whole
Oh,
outfit.
that's
No, I'm only asking.
That's a normal answer.
Yeah,
don't feel like that's a weird answer. That's
Is that a trick question?
No, it's a normal answer. So me and my, I was hoping that you were the same way. So me and my wife, so we watched an episode for about an hour, right? That's the episode length. But for some reason, we go into about a 40 minute research process within like a minute, and then we go into another 40 within the next 20 minutes. So
to find a show.
Imagine like how you were on the RV and you look at the windmill and you're like, I wonder how much that costs. That's them in the middle of it.
Yeah.
They'll see a car and you're like, how much is that?
What's the serial number on it?
That's so funny. That's so funny. My husband does that. But it's the 20 to 30 minute delay in finding a show. So if we've already binged whatever show it is we're watching, he goes, you find a show. I'm like, no, you find a show. And then we're sitting there bickering because it's like whatever show he finds normally, I'm like, or I fall asleep if it doesn't interest me. And
then you say, oh, I didn't like it.
Or we'll just sit there and we're like 15 minutes in, we're like, this is slow, man. This is really slow. And then again, back to the whole like cyclical process of finding another show. So right. The Office? Yeah. Actually, I haven't watched it, but he watched it with my daughter and son. I think he watched it with both of them, but that wasn't a show that we watched together. No,
you need to commit. I've watched every single episode of The Office.
Wow,
about 17 times in my life so far.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I took a 187 question quiz on The Office, and I got every question right. My wife is upset about it.
That's insane. That's insane. That's my husband with Simpsons. He knows every single one. He can watch the first like 30 seconds of the intro and know exactly what episode's about to play without knowing what the info was for that episode. Like he's just insane.
Word to word too. Like
how the turntables have turned.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. But no, it definitely like my husband does the same thing. We'll sit there and we'll watch something and a nice car drives by. And then next thing you know, he's on there looking at the car, or the guy's wearing a watch and he's looking at the watch and he's looking it up. I'm like, boy, can you just watch the TV show? But yeah, at least he's doing that and not other things on his phone. Right. So
you're right. You're right.
Oh my goodness. All right. So what are some major goals for Extra Duty? Do you guys have any other amazing things that are coming up on the horizon?
Do we want to spoil it?
We can spoil one.
We can spoil one thing.
We're alive.
Spoil one thing.
So we just recently got in contact with a veteran with a sign.
Okay.
And we're gonna do an episode with him, and he's gonna he may hopefully help us get to another goal we're trying to get.
Okay.
We have a lot of goals that we're trying to hit, and
we'll give him one goal. I mean, you know what? All right, our number one goal right now is we want to create our LLC.
Okay.
Because our big major goal is we want to create a company, and the company we want to create is going to be a production company where veterans, soldiers who are still active that want to come on and be a video game streamer, want to be a podcaster or YouTuber, we will provide equipment to you and help support service members, because people's been helping us and supporting us.
Yeah.
We want to return that back. And then eventually, I said this out loud. Every single person at my company will make $80,000 a year.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so my plan about being the windmill tech or the underwater welder that's completely. I'm going to be.
He doesn't have a choice. He's going to work here.
Yeah.
But $80,000, and the reason why is because we don't believe in greed here. We don't believe in hoarding money. We don't believe in. There's no reason why I need $500,000 a year being made, even if I'm the owner of the company. I believe in self-sustaining life and maintaining my workers. We want everyone to, we want everybody to have finance classes. We want everybody to be financially successful in the future. And the goal to do that is to educate and financial education. Speaking of financial education, we have a finance episode coming up soon where they're going to do a full PowerPoint episode for free on our show for military. So if you want to learn how to do your finances, do your TSPs or anything like that, they're giving you a free class on how to properly do it for you guys. And they say 100% down with it.
And this isn't like some random, like NCO that just got put on the duty. These are like actual financial advisors
that were in the military.
Yeah.
One is still currently in, got his finance license, and the other one got out. But we are genuinely trying to, like I said, my show, it's not about, it's about change. It's about education. And as much as I can do, I'm going to continue to do it.
For me, like a personal goal is like, 'cause I love, teaching and mentoring people, right? That's like my favorite thing to do, especially in the Army. You know, I have all these guys come up to me and ask me questions, simple questions for me, but super complex for them. I love explaining it and helping them out. And I think for me, like the year I have here, whether I stay or not, I would love to try and mentor and, help as many people as I can, with this podcast or outside the podcast,
No, that's amazing.
Yeah. And another goal that we have that's actually a very public goal is Sergeant Major of the Army on our podcast.
Yeah, if we can get the Sergeant Major of the Army on this podcast, that'd be great.
Yeah.
He was my I'm pretty sure he was my brigade sergeant major back in the day.
You were CAV, right?
I was first Cav.
Yeah, he was my sergeant major in JBLM.
What year was that?
Man, I barely remember what day it is.
So I think I was in Cav from 2015 to 18. I'm pretty sure he was my sergeant major back then. Because I kind of remember him. Yeah.
Look, hopefully, if he comes on our show, we're gonna. It's the reason why we want him on our show is not. The reason, honestly, why we want him on our show is to get his endorsement that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because we think we're doing the right thing. My chain of command is fully supportive of what I've been doing. They want me to fix up my language a little bit, which I totally understand. Because I'm a little bit of a vulgar guy, but again, not affiliated.
It's not authentic, though. When you don't.
You're right.
Yeah,
but we're not affiliated with the military, so it don't even matter. But when I do have leadership come on, we give them questions and it's an interview. But when you guys are soldiers and you come on, I don't care what the fuck you say, curse, don't start on the floor. But
yeah, we got to clean that, Leonard.
No, you guys haven't cleaned a thing. This place is a mess.
There you go, extra duty.
Okay.
Counsel them.
No, I haven't got my initial counseling for this.
Yeah, I haven't got my initial counseling for this podcast.
You guys don't get paid. That's right. Just so you guys know, hey, IRS, they don't get paid, and I don't make any money. All right.
Yeah, someone threw out the word intern to him, and that stuck. Like,
they're unpaid interns currently right now.
That's the thing. So we were interns before, and then someone said unpaid interns.
Yeah.
Then he looked into it. He goes, "That's a real thing.
It is
unpaid interns now."
Yeah.
So
100%.
The chance that we're going to have money.
No, you guys aren't getting a dime.
Unpaid interns for life.
For life.
For life. That's so funny. Some things just never change. I love it. All right. So I'm going to ask this question that I ask a lot of people, but I'm going to ask this to, because all of you will have a chance to think about it. I want to catch Boy Pretzel on the fly. So Boy Pretzel, if I were to give you a billboard, what would it say?
I'd probably, honestly, I'd sponsor some cool shit. Like my personal shit though,
don't do it.
Pit Vipers. Actually, this really cool hat from a company I found on TikTok. They make American Drifter, American Fetcher hats. Mine has a big duck on it. I just sponsor a lot of different things that I think were cool.
Yeah.
We're not getting paid.
Yeah, we're not getting paid, but if the billboard's free, I'm just gonna sponsor shit I like so other people like it.
Sorry, this is my third cup of coffee. I apologize.
Are you sure that's coffee?
No, 100%. I just have to wait. I just have to stay up until about 4 a.m. today. So.
Oh man. All right. Well, what about you guys, Hercules? What about you? If I gave you a billboard, what would you do? What would you put on it? Most people have a quote or something, but Boy Pretzel went for the branding. So
you went for straight branding?
I'm trying to get a sponsorship.
Pit Vipers, wasn't it?
Fuck, bills ain't gonna pay themselves.
Let's see if I had a billboard and I could put anything on it. That's a tough one, to be honest. I would be the one to put someone's phone number on there, just be like, hey, billboard advertisement here, your advertisement here, and just put one of my buddy's phone numbers on there.
Y'all could be plugging the podcast and you guys just wilding out.
If we have billboards, then we've already made it, to be honest.
Yeah, we've already made it. We have a whole billboard.
Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of cool things has billboards. Like Chick-fil-A.
How funny would that be, though? Just with, like, your advertisement. There's your advertisement here billboards, whatever. And it'd be your buddy's information on there.
Yep.
So, I mean,
that's
like, I don't think anyone really calls that. So they get a phone call, a week. Like, hey, I'd like to advertise my company.
I have this. What I do is if somebody has their phone number on the back of their truck or something, like on a sticker, I just call it. I just spam it. Like,
oh my gosh!
Yeah, I'm a whole piece of shit with that, man. I go full on, full spam.
Or like one of the billboards. It could be like, I bought a fucking board,
So one of the you know what, Josh, you need to meet my husband. You guys think a lot alike. We were standing at Disney one time, and we were standing behind this family, and they chose not to use deodorant, so already we're irritated. And and then next thing you know, this man's phone keeps ringing, and then you see him pick it up, then he puts it away, then it rings, then it picks up, puts it away, and I'm like, the fuck is he not picking up his goddamn phone? Somebody's trying to get a hold of him. It's an emergency. And my husband looks at me and starts busting out laughing.
No.
I'm like, why are you laughing? This man's backpack had his phone and his return to address on it, and my husband was calling it the entire
time. I love that guy. I love your husband right now. And
I was like, I'm looking at him, and then he holds up his phone, and his phone is calling this number, and I'm looking over, and I see it on the backpack. I was like, oh my God.
That is so dope. That is so dope.
So, people at Disney, just, save the phone number for another time. Don't do that anymore, because you got soldiers like my husband and Josh who wants to just keep calling and calling and calling. But yeah, that's...
No, I mean, your husband, he's doing the right thing. And you know what? Your husband, you know what he gets? He gets a... that button they made me put that button. I don't even like that button.
I love it. I actually do like the button because you even used it in your meeting today when I walked in on you and you didn't know I was there. So
no, but I just picture some dude just like constantly picking up their phone and going, all right, I'm gonna answer it. As soon as you go to answer it, just cancels.
Oh my God!
No, it will be good. Like when he goes to answer it, you hold the phone up on the other side of his head, so when he talks, he hears it
and just starts freaking out.
Yeah, he just starts freaking the fuck out. Then you take the phone away and end the phone call.
I think if you do that, you put if you put the two phones together, it's like a. If you put the two phones together, it makes that noise, right?
Oh, well, the feedback happens with our mics and stuff. Yeah. So this video, this guy, he had two Chino stores. I call them Chinos in New York. You call them Chinos, like the Chinese food.
Yeah.
So it's like a Chinese place.
It's a Chinese, and they just had the two Chinese food restaurants talking to each other, and they was just like arguing. Well, you don't want to order, and I was like, oh shit, okay, you guys getting mad, man.
Or like when we call Domino's and Pizza Hut, and they start fighting with each other on the phone.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Look.
I just saw a video of it, but it was pretty cool.
So I've had one bad experience with just anyone since I've moved here. Is this guy backed up into my truck? Sally.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. So what had happened was, so I'm not a violent person. I haven't been a violent person for a very, 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 very long time. And so he backs up into my truck and he tries to speed away. So I didn't realize that I could break a car window by pulling on it. I didn't know that. And then I didn't know that I can pull someone out of their vehicle from the window. And I didn't know I can slam someone in front of their hood of their car. And then I'm like, yo, why are you trying to drive away? And he's like, oh, I didn't want to pay for the damages. And I'm like, I mean, that he was straight with me. I mean, it was a right answer. Mm-hmm. He didn't lie to me, but
I didn't know I could make someone pay. No.
But at that moment, right, my pizza was being delivered by Domino's, and all of my neighbors were outside, and I was just there like, everyone just watched what happened. To this day, now no one tells me to push my my garbage cans back in. So,
but like he can justify the story though, because this is like a very important truck.
My truck is the greatest thing.
Because I sold it to him, and
Granny sold it.
Granny, I plugged you up with Granny, so technically I sold it to you. But whatever.
Hey, Granny.
But yeah, it's a very important truck.
She's not in heaven. She's still here.
Yeah, Granny's
Don't be pointing up.
Oh,
Granny's not dead.
point like that way. She lives that way.
Yeah, she's over there. You savage.
I'm not even gonna point anymore. To be honest,
Oh my God.
I wasn't even. Oh man,
I'm so sorry. We took away from the actual purpose of the podcast.
I know, fuck with Granny like that.
No worries. All right, Josh. So what about you? What would you plug or put?
oh, the billboard.
Back to the billboard.
So on the billboard, I honestly, I first thing that's how you actually use it. So I have this old team leader. I used to hate. I still have his phone number. I would put his phone number on there and say, giving away $1,000. Just call me. And if I don't answer, message me 100 times.
No, what you do is giving $1,000 to the 10th caller, or to like a certain number of callers. Right?
Yeah.
And then so they're gonna answer. It's like, am I the 20th caller? No. Am I the 20th caller? Yes.
Oh man.
And then we're like, oh my God, I won. No.
See, now I would do something. I would do something petty. I don't think there's a very I mean, if it was something purposeful, I'd put my podcast up there 100%. But if it was something just like to be an asshole, I'd probably go with that. I think it'd be my crowning achievement. And
I think we put ours together because mine would be for advertising on the billboard.
Oh yeah,
and then you put his number
or just
on
put
there.
something like politically heated on there and then his phone number.
Look,
like this is what I think.
What don't we talk about on our podcast?
Politically heated things.
Okay, there we go. Because we don't want to.
We didn't talk about it.
No, we don't know. No,
Yeah.
I'm not playing this game with you.
Wow.
But the thing is like, because again, I don't think anyone really calls the billboard advertisements.
See, no.
So it's like it'll be like a random thing. So like
Have you ever called a billboard?
No, me,
Yeah.
no.
Well, not like a
Never.
billboard advertisement.
No, I got you. But have any of you
No,
guys?
exactly.
Have you?
Yeah.
How was your experience when you
It
went
was
to that?
like an automated
Yeah.
thing. And,
Oh, see, I hate that.
What's your Yelp review on it?
1 star because the robot tried to help me out.
Now,
But
if it was some
it didn't
random
help.
person's phone number,
Can I ask you guys a question? Is it
Oh.
irrational of me to get violently upset every time I'm on the phone with Sprint? Every time I'm on the phone with Sprint, right? I never get what I need done, yet my bill gets reduced. So something happened. I just don't know what it was, but I get upset every time.
Probably getting the
It's
major.
Sprint. You can do that.
So it's not irrational to do it. I'm not going to do that. Okay, see, I'm not a bad person, but I get so upset.
Those people work hard and you're being a fucking
No,
dickhead.
it's not even the people. It's the machines. I hate automated systems, man. I hate. You know, I remember I went in for a job interview when I was a kid. I went in for a job interview. Now you send like a resume that just it's a blanket statement of who you are.
a resume with a question, like a questionnaire.
Yeah, it's just a questionnaire.
I had a buddy like apply for a job, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm applying." And I was like, "All right, when are you gonna call for an interview?" He goes, "No, we have to fill out this questionnaire."
See, but how do they know I'm funny? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a very pleasant person all the time, but I'm kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? I say it all the time.
Yeah,
Look, I'm not attractive.
Stay humble.
No,
Look,
no.
I'm saying humble. Look, I'm not attractive.
Yeah.
I look like a foot on fire 90% of the time, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But
100%
I'm
accurate.
kind of funny, and that's
I
what gets me
wouldn't say
by.
all
Okay, stay humble.
Yeah,
But-
stay humble.
Wow, you guys are hitting me. Either way, I feel like most of the time when it comes to me trying to get a job is trying to talk to the person. But I feel like I don't know. I just feel like
Well, we're very like extroverted, so like
I get that, but
Yeah, and there's some things that you put on paper that sound right. You have to say it.
and that's what it is. I just feel like I'm again. We completely detoured. I am so. This is about a billboard, right?
About a billboard, like south of the border, Cafe Risque stuff.
I'm so sorry.
yeah,
Oh.
I apologize.
I love it. No worries. That's I don't expect anything less from you guys. And Julene says no, it's just as normal as being angry at the DMV.
Oh,
so
Julene?
Oh my
Hi,
god!
yeah,
Julene.
she's on the chat.
We
Yeah.
started on the
Hi,
DM.
Julie. We love you. We miss you.
Hi, Julene. I don't know you, but I love it. ATS optimized resume, get you in front of the HR rep. There you go. And and I think that's a big thing too, is resume preparation is really key, and being able to know how you're supposed to word your resume, like as a leader and hiring people now, you have to impress them on paper before you can even get through that door. Once you get through that door, hook, line, and sinker, you got them with your personality, but you really just have to know how to be smart about that. And that's a good transition podcast for you guys to do for the guys and gals too. For
Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
My wife is actually very good at this. She said she figured out a way to take her time as being a stay-at-home mom and convert it to work time. She said, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I'm a domestic engineer. Right?
Yep.
She's a domestic engineer where she supervises 3 people in a facility and maintains, you know, she's good at wording it, but you know what I'm saying? You could bullshit anything.
The factory in working order.
You just fluff everything, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've got a video. I'll send it to you later. On it was a TikTok video that I seen recently about how you can create your own LLC and get paid from it. So some good stuff out there. Good stuff out there. You never know. It's about being creative.
Send that awesome video from the. You got to play it at the end so people can see how dope we are.
Oh my god!
We should get a fucking Pit Viper sponsorship.
Hey,
all right. My
fucking Pit Vipers are PPE approved. So fuck
all right.
All right. So if people needed to get a hold of you, what is the best way to do that?
So I'm gonna pull up my link tree here, right? So we have a link tree.
Oh, it's right there.
Oh.
I got you.
There it is.
I got you.
Wow.
Look, you guys hit us up on our link tree. We're on Facebook, Instagram, kind of YouTube,
TikTok.
Oh yeah, we have a TikTok now. I mean,
we have a TikTok.
Yeah, we have a TikTok.
We got a TikTok. It's all right. Oh, we just made a Snapchat, so you guys can snap. Yeah, I just
Snapchat.
Give me that login.
So we got Snapchats. We got everything now. I mean, we're out here pumping.
Yeah.
You know,
we knew all those things. We were just emphasizing that we're socially
right. Yeah. You weren't left out of that meeting, that really important meeting that Josh had.
We got a MySpace account with 3 friends.
One of them being Tom.
Yeah.
But we're here, man. We're everywhere. If you guys want to contact me, if you guys find my email, just look at the bottom, man. I guarantee you my phone number's there, but you guys can contact us anywhere. If you follow us on Instagram, we won't follow you back just so we can maintain our sponsors. But if you follow us on Twitter, we 100% follow back. We retweet everything because, you know, we just go down the line. Because everybody's important. I'm tired of influencers. I said it already.
Yeah.
But no, we're here. We're here.
I love it. And I appreciate it so much. And I think, you know, what you were saying, guys, earlier was this isn't a moment, it's a movement. And you guys are here to really, really create change within your areas and create change throughout the world. And I think it's incredible, the messages that you're bringing and then the people that you're bringing onto your platform as well. So I really, you know, as a former soldier as well, appreciate what you're doing and all the efforts that you're putting in, because I know that we don't make money off of what we're doing. All this time invested and all this energy invested doesn't really come back to us for a very, very long time. And again, if we were aiming to be influencers, then we are already going down the wrong path of this, right? So
100%.
We are here to influence people, and that's 100% exactly why I'm here and why you guys are here. And I thank you so much for everything that you're doing.
Oh yeah, we thank you too. And we're so happy that you brought us on your show because, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you, we haven't been on people don't want us on their show.
We've been on plenty of shows
from the Billboard incident.
Off
the rails.
But we were so I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm extremely excited that we came on your show. I'm happy we were your first live of season 3. And
yes,
it's just wonderful because seeing other veterans trying to make change and stuff like that is something that I want to be the Tesla of podcasts. Which not in the sense of being rich, in the sense of giving away my purpose to other people, and they can continue to do the same purpose too. And you know, and you did that for us. You were our Tesla, and we want to continue to be like you. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. And we'll definitely stay in touch.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yes.